Hello friends, today we will be going to discuss about a very important topic, that's genetic disorders. Throughout the topic we will be discussing about the basics of genetic disorders and the heredity of genetic disorders, reason, that's the gene mutation and their types of mutation, how to detect, that is the diagnosis of genetic disorders, purpose of diagnosing, prognosis, their treatment, the basic one of the major important disease, that's the Huntington disease, it's a neurodegenerative disease, Down syndrome and Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So proceeding further, genetic disorders. When we talk about genetic disorders, a genetic disorders occurs when a person has one or more abnormal genes, missing genes, extra genes, inactivated genes, or overall activity genes that leads to a medical conditions. Yes, importantly, if there is any defect within the genome of a person, whether in one gene, two gene, or at the chromosomal level, or even at the genetic level, it will surely leads to a genetic disorder which would be having a definitely a very harmful consequences and a very dreadful phenotypic occurrence. So understanding about the genetic disorders, genes are the building blocks of heredity, as we know, and we have gone through the basic nature of genes. That's the smart segment of DNA is called a gene. Genes are found within the cells of all organisms, whether it could be DNA as a genetic material or RNA could be a genetic material, depending on the quality, the species, or the what type of organism it is. DNA holds the instructions for making protein. When talking about what is the main aim, what is the main function of DNA, we should be knowing that DNA acts as the initiation molecule for the central dogma and leading to the production of desired protein. The DNA is made up of different combination of that 4 nucleic acid. We should be aware about it: adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine, which are arranged in a specific patterns leading to specific genes. Proteins, they are the output molecules of any genetic process which leads to a specific function and performs the metabolic orders, disorders, and everything in the body. So in a broad spectrum, you can see when we extend, see, this is a chromosomal structure. Within the chromosome there is a coiling structures, which is a thread like structure. We extend it and you can see it, and unwinding could leads to a specific, we can see, visible appearance of DNA, and out of which a specific portion is called a gene. Moving further, a magnified structure of a human cell, if we could consider this, this is a cell, this is a nucleus. We zoom up the nucleus. Nucleus is having the genetic material. The genetic material could be considered as a DNA within the chromosome. Extending the chromosome, zooming up it could lead, we can see a structure of DNA present within it. A very basic and very essential structure. So the basic DNA constitute of adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine, and the backbone is this yellow structure provides a structure configuration, that's a phosphate group. Sometimes understanding a genetic disorder could be considered as there is a mutation which changes the gene or the gene structure, and that could lead to a medical conditions which is called a genetic disorder. Usually in majority of the cases, person can inherit a gene mutation from one or both of the parents. So we can say if a parents are having a genetic disorder or they are having a genetic defect, so there are a lot of chances that it would be passed to the next generation. Like for example, we can say Down syndrome, sickle cell anemia, all these at any level could be passed depending on their inheritance pattern. So as we have previously also seen this, the chromosome and extended structure as a gene. Talking about human heredity of genetic disorders, a person DNA is contained inside two set of chromosomes. We already know that, and 23 chromosomes are present in a human particular cell. Out of 23 pairs, we can say total there are 46 chromosomes. The 46 chromosomes, they have two pairs of the sex chromatids, that is 22 pairs are the autosomes, and one is XY in male and XX in female. So important thing is Certain genetic disorders occurs when there are genetic mutations in sex chromosomes, and these can affect males and females differently. Also, to inherit an autosomal recessive trait, a person must inherit two copies of mutated gene. That is very important parameter. Heredity of genetic disorders. Mutated genes do not generally experience disease symptoms but are called carriers because they can still pass the trait on to their children. Yes, definitely there are chances that the genes or defective genes could be transferred to the next generation, but also it doesn't mean if a defective gene is transferred, it will definitely show a phenotype. There are chances that a gene or a defective gene could stay in a recessive state in the next generation. Like, talking about GNA mutations, it is a permanent alteration in the DNA sequence that makes up a gene. Like, types could be acquired mutation or hereditary mutation. Acquired mutations, like it is a mutation which occurs randomly within an organism, while on contradiction, hereditary mutation which is transferred already from his parents. Hereditary mutations are inherited from a parent, as I said. These mutations are also called germ-line mutation. Very important thing, germ-line mutations, because they are present in the parent's egg or sperm cells, which are also called germ cells. Very important thing. When an egg or a sperm unites, the resulting fertilized eggs receive DNA from both parents. So, if a parent, either the male or the female parent, is defected, it would be transferred into the fertilized eggs and definitely to the next generation. Acquired mutations occur at some time during a person's life and are present only in certain cells, not in every cells in the body. Yes, as I said, it is a mutation which occurs randomly in any part or any cell or any tissue of the organism, and there are most probably the chances that the mutation will not be transferred to the next generation. Acquired mutations in somatic cells other than sperm cannot be passed on to the next generation. Yes, definitely these types of mutation, specifically the acquired mutations in non-germ-line cells, that is, you can say a normal somatic cells, it could be cell of our heart, kidney, lymph, or all these cells, they are not transferred to the next generation. Sickle. Now, types of genetic disorders we are talking about. Single gene disorders, where a mutation affects one gene. Sickle cell anemia is a common example. Chromosomal disorders, where chromosomes or part of chromosomes are missed or changed. They are the chromosomes are the structure that hold our genes. One of the common example of this, when we talk about a chromosomal disorder, yes, definitely Down syndrome. Down syndrome is a disorder which occurs Down syndrome is a disorder which occurs with a defect in a chromosomal extra arrangement or extra occurring of a defective chromosome, which could be polygamy or diploidy or triploidy, like this. Often lifestyle and environment also play a crucial role in defects, like colon cancer is an example. Diagnosing genetic disorders. As we all know that if a person is showing any symptoms of any disorder, genetic disorder, the diagnosis plays a crucial role in identifying the disease. You can see the purpose of genetic disorders: finding genetic disease in unborn babies, finding out if people carry a gene for a disease and might pass it on the other children, screening embryos for disease, testing for genetic disease in adults before they cause symptoms, making a diagnosis in a person who has disease symptoms, figuring out the type of dose of the medicine. Physical examination could be done. Certain physical, like distinct facial features, can be observed. Measurements such as distance around the head size, neurological diagnosis, CT scans, all these important techniques could be used to see whether there is a variation in the normal symptoms and the person is showing alteration in his phenotype or in the behavioral disturbances. Personal medical history. Information about an individual's health, often going back to birth, can provide a crucial role in the genetic diagnosis. Yes, definitely. If a person is showing any symptoms of any genetic disorders, it could be a very important parameter to know about the family history. Like, we can do the pedigree analysis for the same. They are concerned of past health issues hospitalization, surgeries, allergies, medications, and any medical history which a person is having. That plays a very important role in diagnosing the disease. As I said, family medical history could be diagnosed by going through the family chart, pedigree chart. The laboratory testing deals with genetic testing, which could be molecular level, chromosomal level, biochemical testing. Other laboratory testing could be a blood or the urine sample, which could give the basic variations. There's like in this chart you can see there are basic genetic disorders: muscular dystrophy, hemophilia, glucose galactose, amyloidolateral sclerosis, AD immunodeficiency. So variability, uncountable number of genetic disease which occurs rarely in humans. Prenatal diagnosis can detect the presence of characteristic abnormalities in fetal. In recent times, parents are so conscious about their upcoming generation that they would not take any risk with the coming generation. So it has become a really specifically, and when we talk about it is a common phenomena of prenatal diagnosis when we talk about the Western countries, Western cultures. So one of the common disease like the Huntington disease causes the degeneration of the nerve cells in the brain and central nervous system. This hereditary condition is an autosomal dominant disorder, aims to limit the course of the disease. It is a very crucial neurodegenerative disease in which is passed to the next generation, and as a drastic consequences, a patient is not able to surpass the normal age of 40 to 50 years. It is a very rare genetic disorders but passed to the next generation. You can see the variations in the brain of a Huntington defected person. Down syndrome, it results when an extra copy of genes occurs on the chromosome 21, leading to mental retardation, decreased muscle tone in the face, developmental delays, and heart and digestive system defects. It leads to a trisomy, mosaic Down syndrome, translocation Down syndrome. Ultimately, it is dealing with the 21st chromosome and adding up a pair of it. Duchenne muscular dystrophy symptoms shows themselves before the age of 6. The condition causes fatigue, weakness of muscles, which starts in the legs and then gradually progresses to the upper body, leaving the individual wheelchair bound by the age of 12. So as we can see through all these images, there are really, it is a very heartbreaking, threatening thing if a person is getting genetic disorders to the next generation. So as per this lecture, hope you will be able to know the basics and the very importance of genetic disorders. So friends, we will be continuing with the next lecture and some major other topics. Thanks. This was Indra Pratap Singh, and thanks for watching this video. Thank you.